commit suicide. He was so depressed. He had this big ego because he was so smart, but he was also a big nerd. So they were giving him a hard time at Cambridge, and he had a lot of feelings of inferiority actually, and he wanted to. Part of him felt superior, and part of him felt inferior. And at one point he realizes, I cannot live with myself anymore. And the moment he thinks that, he realizes, oh my God, there are two. There's an I and there's a myself that cannot live with each other. So the I is the personality, and the myself is the soul, or the I is the soul, and the myself is the personality. And for him, he's really in a do or die situation because he wants to commit suicide. And what happens is that the urgency of the situation forces him to go inside, because he says, okay, I'm going to kill myself, or I'm going to have a breakthrough. On an unconscious level, this happens, of course. And this breakthrough causes his awakening, but there has to be a lot of pressure. Most of the time, people don't choose to go to their soul directly. And why did I write the book Manifesting from the Heart? Because people say to me, okay, you're actually saying that I first need a big crisis, a big depression in order to connect with my heart or with my soul. I'm saying, no, that's not the case. And you see it very clearly with Oprah Winfrey. We all know Oprah. I mean, she's very successful. She's one of the most influential people in the world. She's a big icon and a big inspiration to millions of people. But we never think about where she started. If you look at where Oprah started, she was born in Mississippi. She was black, and in her own words, she was ugly, and she was as poor as you can be without having a roof over your head. Oprah was also a daughter of a maid, and her granddaughter, and her grandmother was a maid too, and her great-grandmother was a slave. And she is living in Mississippi, at that time the most racist state in the US. So she is there, super poor, black, in the most racist state in the US, and she realizes at a very early age that she does not have so much to live for. Her grandmother, who's taking care of her, is saying to her, Oprah, I hope you find yourself some nice white folks, to work for as a maid. And part of her realizes, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something more with my life. But the interesting thing with her is because she realized she did not have so much going for her, actually nothing. She said, I have nothing to live for. And she's very religious. She's believing in God. She says to God, use me as an instrument. So at a very early age, her ego was in a way open. She said, let my personality serve God. And she said, use me. My life changed when I said, not anymore, what do I want, but when I started to ask, what does life want from me? This came because of a conversation that Oprah and Eckhart Tolle had. And Oprah said, I think there's nothing more important than finding your purpose in life. And Eckhart said, yes, but you cannot get there through thinking. And he said, if you want to find your purpose in life, then you can ask yourself, what do I want? But a more powerful question would be, what does life want? So what does the soul want? What does my heart want?
Tot zover.
I had a big